Hi everyone, welcome to Godson Design Academy. I'm going to walk you through a few things, and this is introduction to Pixellab. When you open your Pixellab app, this is what you probably get as your first interface. And I'm just going to walk you through a few things, what the icons stand for, and shortly after this introduction, I'll dive straight into practicals. Alright, so when you come in this app, the first icon you're seeing here, which is the bottom left, that's where you click. You have some templates already made for you, different backgrounds. You can see them here. I rarely use this. I don't think I have used them before. So because we do create designs from the scratch. And the next icon there is this capital letter A. Oh yeah, sorry about that. We have project. If you click here, some projects that you've done before. This is mine. And so when you save a project, it comes here and you see them here under your project, right? The next thing is the letter A here. This is everything about typography. So if I delete this, just to show you how this works. If I delete this is what you get. But then I'll create a text now, and because I created a text, it gives us other options to do with the text. We can edit the text. You see that we can edit the text. Yes, styles also. If you have a preset style for the text, I'm going to show you how that works in a bit. But then you can edit the text, you can delete the text. I'm just going to put that back in. Let me undo that process. Here you can copy the text. You can, let me just show you guys how this works by changing the color of this. So let's say this text is in front of the other one, so you can take it to the back. I hope you saw that now, and bring it to the front. That's what it does. Take it to the back again and bring it to the front. So when you want to send something behind, you can you can use this position, fix it. That's what position is all about. Relative position makes it aligned to either the center, aligned to the left, to the right, aligned to the left, aligned to the top. So it just moves your object, your text now, to a particular place you want it to be. Okay, the next thing here is the size. Increase the size. The size. Some of you, the numbers for your size might be smaller than this. It still works the same. Okay, and padding. So if you have left padding, it means you want to create more space on the left before the text. Still in the text now. On the right, you want to do that. Okay, so that also works that way. I'm just going to undo that. Then the color here, to change the color of the text. Yep, I'm just showing you what the interface of Pixellab looks like. Change the color of the texture here. It's like adding a fill. Let me just put this as the fill. Yeah, did you see what that did there? So to add the image I'm going to show you how we're going to use that in a bit. Add the image to the text. So instead of having a text, you have a picture there. So this works best if you're doing double exposures and all of that. I'm going to show you how it works. We're going to undo that whole process. So opacity reduced. It shows how faint your text should be. Look at this. I'm just showing you what the effect is when how that is used. To rotate, you all know that. To turn your text upside down, rotate, give it some angles. The next thing is to marks. I'm going to show you what this looks like in a bit, how to apply this to especially how we can use marks. Let me show you what we can do with that in a minute. I just change the color back. So we're at marks, and let me just show you what we can do with that. So you want to crop out some part, and that's just this part of the text. You can use marks to crop that part out. Okay, so you see that now. I'm just going to undo that so you can have the text full again. So the next thing is font. To change the kind of font you are using there. So I have some font I've already downloaded in my phone, and I'm going to show you how to import fonts in some coming videos. Okay, so just once you've already imported this font, so you can just click on this and the font will change. You see that, right? Now let me show you where this is important. Now remember we had padding. So if you have a font that looks like that, you can just come here and increase the padding. Okay, that's how to fix that up now. Alright, so just showing you that how padding could be used there. The next thing is style. You can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can make it underlined, you can take it all off. Alright, so something else I want to show you. Most people don't see this. So if I want to bold only the new, I'll just highlight it this way and then bold this. Okay, I think you saw that. If I want to underline, let me use that only the text. That's what I'm going to do, right? So hope you see that. The next thing is curve. Most people use this effect for some kind of stamp logos and all of that. So you see that, right? That's what it looks like. I'm just gonna take it out. The next thing is background. So I want to give only the text a background, and I don't want to add from like adding a shape behind the text. You can just give it a background from here, right? You see what that looks like. Yeah. Okay, the next thing is, now I'm gonna take that off totally. The next thing we have is align. I need to have more than one line. Hello, I'm just gonna paste something so you can see. Hello. Okay, let's see how that could work. I'm trying to show you how you can use those align. Alright, so we have 3 lines here already. My apologies on, I think that font is not visible enough, but you understand what I'm trying to do. Let's just get there. So if I'm aligning to the center, everything is aligned. You see that? If I align to the right, everything is aligned to the right. If I align to the left, we have this now. So in English language, we use mostly only left align and right align because we read from left to right. So you'd like to, when we go into the principles of design, you see that more. Alright, so we've understood align to the left, center align, and then to the right. The next thing you understand that we are still under the typography section of Pixellab. The next thing is spacing. This is what we call kerning, spelled Kerning. So it's kerning, the spaces in between your text that makes up the word. I think I should use this other text now because it's looking funny, right? Let's see what that looks like here. Spacing. Can you see that now? Yeah. Alright, so that's how to do that. We can also space words, that's what we can do with spacing. The next thing there is line spacing. So let me show you how line spacing works. To do that, I need to have some other text. Alright, so we're looking at line spacing. This is what line spacing means. Yeah. Okay, so you're seeing it in real time, so it's simple to understand. When you're having something to design like this, just come here and get line spacing there. The next thing is stroke for the text. So you can actually, when you come in, you put it on, and then change the colors for the stroke, the color of the stroke you need to use, and then you can increase the stroke size. Okay, you can increase the stroke size here. All right. The next thing is shadow. And yeah, this is how shadow works. Again, you can change the color of the shadow. Yeah, that looks more like a glowing effect. So you see now, if you want to have a glowing effect, you can actually use shadow as well to get that in Pixellab. Yeah, you can also increase the size. Something I actually like to do is reduce the blur radius, I guess, and then I'll push this here. So you see what you're doing now. That's still shadow. That's a design having like an highlight or those kind of glitch effect on the text, right? So if you have, this looks cool for me. We can actually achieve this using shadows, all right? I'm just showing that to you. The next thing is inner shadows. Yeah, inner shadows is like, instead of the shadows being outside, it is being inside the text. Where we can actually use this. You're already seeing what that looks like, right? So the shadow is in the text, it's moving inside. Okay, so you see that now. That looks good. Let me show you what this looks, just to show you what this will look like if we have a black background. Yeah, something like that. and then we have shadow. Just give me a second. Okay, see what that looks like. Inner shadow. Just give me a second. Let's see what we can achieve. You see. So yeah, that's what inner shadow does. The next thing is emboss. So I think I need to change the type first. So we have something bold. Let's see what that looks like. If we have this effect here, I think it makes it look smooth. Yeah. So you see that now. That's the effect you have. Let's see, you have like a color like blue. Yeah, you see what that looks like, right? Because this is turned on. Emboss. So you get it enabled. Let's turn it off. Put it on. It makes it look more metallic, and you can actually, put where the light is coming in from. This is done with Pixellab. So let's say you're having a church stuff that you need like flaming stuff or some text that looks 3D. You can actually achieve that using the emboss there. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to turn that off so we can move on. Yep, the next thing to do is perspective. Now, I love perspective because you can do this. If you're having to, I use perspective in some of my designs. So you want to write a text on the floor. If you're designing, let me take this out now. Yeah. All right. So this is what it looks like. Perspective now, and remember when any of this stuff you need to turn it on. So it's like that. Then you're cool. Okay. So we move to the next thing. I'm going to turn that off quickly. We move to the next thing. 3D rotate. Okay, so that's how you can rotate your text. X axis, Y axis. I don't think it has Z axis. It doesn't. Alright, so the next thing is 3D text. This could get a little sketchy, but it works. It works really well. So we have 2D and 3D. Alright, and I think this is 3D and this is 2D. You can actually have depth, pull it in like that. And if you have depth like that, you have to really understand how this works and play around with it very well. Play around with the colors. How do you want the background to be like? You see that now? You see what we're doing? So you need to really be sure how you want it to be like. Or you can use auto, that's what we have. Or you can use a color. Can you see that now? So you really need to understand what you want your design to look like. To achieve that, you can actually rotate it this way. I've seen designs that look like this somehow. You can do it with Pixellab. That's just what I'm saying. Okay. So there's Z rotation here. It turns it just like you're rotating, but then this is a 3D rotating, right? All of these other things, light angles on the 3D effect you've made, not on the text itself. The intensity, see that now? Intensity of the light, right? And how much shadow you want to have, all of these settings are here in the 3D effect. So 3D text, and the next thing is 3D shadow. How does that work? Let's put it on. It creates that kind of let's see, opacity. That's the blur radius. Expand by, that's what it does. So let's say we have I'm just trying to see something. Let's say we don't have any text. I know you probably will be thinking of this too. Let's say you don't have any text. It means you can actually have a 3D shadow. So you can actually use this for, let's say you have a human. Let's say you have someone. Let's just create this. You can use maybe a phone mock-up. You have a phone mock-up and you're trying to create a shadow for that. Just reduce the opacity of this. Oh no, that's not reduced. Let's go back. So we have 3D shadow. You could pick a color or you could reduce the opacity. So we are creating a shadow for this box here. I'm just showing you how that could work. Remember, that's still on that text. Let's take that out. You're already seeing some things I'm using, and I'm going to explain all of those in a bit. So I'm just going to do this again. I think that was the last stop there. Or the next stop is reflection. You want to have reflection of your text. It looks cool, but most people do this manually. But you can actually do this too. Okay. This is also cool. So that's the last thing you get when you click on typography. This letter A here. We've explored all of this here. The next thing to explore is the next option. Looks like a hexagon there. So it's number one here is sticker, a couple stickers you could use, and I'm going to show you this couple stickers you could use. Right, emojis. These are stickers that are coming with Pixellab. You can use this instead of importing it as images. The next thing I like to show you, still under stickers. Right, whilst we are designing, I'll be showing you this. I'll be using this in our design, so you need to understand this. When you click on stickers, this is the first shape you get, and sometimes I will tell you get this glowing effect, this shape here, this sticker up. And how you get this sticker is not by clicking this stuff here. You see, if I click that right, if I click this place, it's going to cancel the whole sticker out. Alright, but then how you get it is, let's say I want to retain the sticker, just tap anywhere in the screen. Just tap anywhere on the screen that is not that place. So once you just tap anywhere, that stuff remains. Let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to do that again. And I'm going to click here again, it is gone. But if I do that again and tap anywhere on the screen, I have it remain. So let me show you how we can use that. We can use this to change colors and then have like glowing effect anywhere. Maybe you want to have a glow effect somewhere behind, maybe behind a human or so. So we can use this. It looks really, really good for design sometimes. Okay, so I'm showing you what we have here. The next thing is to import images. Sorry, now I had a project going on, that's why you have a lot of images like this. So you import an image. That's what it looks like. This is a brand I'm working with now, Make Brand Electronics, and I just finished their social media flyers. Okay, so I've imported that image in, and how did I import? I'm showing you again. By clicking on this import, the second icon here, and then you click on this. So you can actually access your files from there in case you don't have the picture in your gallery or something. So again, when we have a picture imported, we also have options selected like this, like we had with the text. Remember, we had something like copy text to the front, to back, to front, and all of that. We also have some things like that for images, elements that we import in now, and we're just going to explore a few. Most of them are similar, but we're going to explore a few. To crop this, the first thing I didn't click. So if you want to click reselect, it takes you back to your import and you pick another image, but that's not what we want to do. You click delete, the option is gone, the update is gone. But what we are trying to do now is, let's click on crop. We have some preset sizes. So you have 16:9. This is a movie like kind of ratio. 4:3. This is for reels. Also for reels. So you get, you need any of those stuff you want to design in that pattern, or you want to crop something out, you can just use any of these premeditated stuff. So you could just expand it, make it cycle, make it perfect square, and then you have a cycle there. Also the same thing, you can rotate, you can flip it from this other side, you can also rotate. Okay, you could flip, yeah. Alright, so cancel that. The next thing there is to copy. I've already showed you what copy looks like. Most of the things here are the similar things with the text, so we are not going to go over it like that again. Take to the front, take to the back. Let's see how that works. Yeah, take to the front, take to the back. All right. The same thing with position. Relative size, we didn't see that in text. Relative size means we are increasing the whole size of the stuff, right? We're not just increasing increasing that now, like that makes it look stretched out now. So we add relative size, and we already understand what relative position looks like. Relative size means increasing the whole size of it, so you could see weight. If you click on weight, so if you put this all up, if you put this off, maintain ratio, this is what you're going to get. Okay, you can increase only one side of it, but then if you put it on and you increase this like this, sorry about that, you increase this like this, it's going to increase the two sides, the whole, that's what we call relative size. So the whole size you're increasing. You can change the color of that object to a solid color. Okay, even if it's being a picture, you can change it. So that's how you change PNG. So if you imported a PNG and you wanted to use a silhouette, maybe like change the whole picture or the PNG as it is to maybe a headshot or maybe some kind of shadow effect, like a silhouette basically. You can do it from here. The next thing is texture. You understood how I explained that with text. It's just the same thing. Put it in, select an image, and then put back down. You see stroke, you see color. Oh, yeah, let's talk about color filters. You see opacity. So let's talk about color filters. Color filters help you. I'm just going to play around with that. Change the hue for the particular image you brought in. Okay, see what's going on there. And the next thing it does, increase the saturation, of that particular image. Also the brightness, also the contrast and all. So just selecting all of this gives you what you want for that particular image, not the entire design right now. That particular image you brought in. And the next thing is stroke. We already talked about that. Eraser. This is what eraser does. This is the size. You see what I'm increasing on the top left now. This is the size. This is the blur. So if I want to have a very solid eraser, I can clean this up like that. I'm going to take that back. If I want to have something more blurry, you see what I'm having right now. Okay, so be sure of what you're using. I'm going to show you something else on the eraser. So if you want to, you see what now? If you want to take out a square shape in the picture, this is what you can do. You can take the back side now, and you can take the inner part, right? So the next thing is for a circle. I'm just going to undo that. If you want to take out a circle, the same thing there. Okay. So the next thing is for, let's say I want to draw a shape. Okay, this one I'm having now. All right, so you can take that out. So it's customized now. I wanted to draw a particular kind of shape to take out. So that's how eraser works. You know how marks works. We show you that in text. It works the same way. Erase color. All right, let me show you how this looks like. This works very well. I mean, one of the tricks I love most in Pixellab. Yeah, when you click on enable automatically, it removes all the white colors in the picture. So let's say you don't want to remove the white colors, you want to remove the blue colors and leave only the white color. You can just, let me show you what I did. You can do this eyedropper tool, this tool beside one, click on it, and it makes you pick the color you want to remove. You can click on that. So every other thing there is removed. Can you see that now? Yeah, so you could increase the tolerance. Increasing tolerance means perfectly remove that color and remain what's left. Smooth edges, about the same thing. You see how that works now. But no, that's not what we want for this picture. We are still exploring. Yeah, you see how to rotate again. We looked at that in the text. 3D rotate. You see that now. So you can have this kind of, you're already seeing what this could do for a design. You have something like this, or you have something like this. Let's see how that looks like. Yeah, something like this. You can have this, a picture you brought in, and you have it like a frame. Let me see. I'm just playing with your minds right now. Let's see how we can work with that. We're already seeing a design there, so we can't lie. Okay. So you see there's a design coming up from that stuff already. So we can have the two stones of commandment that Moses got, and Moses can stand in between these two. I'm just showing you how this could be like a design trick. This is already cool. Having a design to do like this. Okay. I already like this. Maybe we could embrace this in one of our tasks. So let's just keep pushing. I hope you understand how we are using these things, because this is actually, you need to understand that your tool of design makes you also a good designer. It's not just about knowing design principles. That's why you find people say I use only Photoshop. You find people say I use only Figma. People say I use only Pixellab, because they know how to use it very well. They know they know how to use it fast. That's just the essence, right? So this is one of the things you need to understand. The next thing there is 3D shape. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so we're already giving that particular shape. You're seeing that now. Remember, we also talked about how we can play around with the colors of the background. We can do the rotation. Okay, so you can see that now. You can see that. Okay. Yeah. So in case they didn't believe that it was actually the stone of the commandment, so you can make it look like a shape, like a 3D. I'm just saying about our design. So again, let's move on to the next thing. Perspective. Yeah, we already saw that. about the same thing. Okay, yeah, so but we don't want to have that because we already like the stones we're having right there. Okay, the next thing is shadow. We already saw shadow. It works the same basically. So yeah, just try this emboss again. See what that does. Okay, see what that does. So let's say you're having a glass effect, or this already looks like an award. What do you think? You can reduce the intensity here. So you want to have that round curve, that feeling of a round curve. Can you see that now? So yeah, I'm showing you what these things does, all of these icons does, and we've explored the first one. We've explored text. We could call this styles or project. We call this typography text. We didn't explore this, so if you just click on it, it shows you preset text like that already in Pixellab. The next one is object, and I hope you've understood everything here. Please, if you didn't, ask a question, bring your questions to the class. This is going to be first for our class, and then bring your questions to the class. All right, so the next thing here, the next object you see we're going is background. So I'm just going to take all of this out. I'll take this out because I think we're done. We'll just leave this for now. So the first thing you're seeing on background is color. You can change the color, all right, to a solid color. This is what you have now. Change the color to whatever you want. You can actually also change it to a gradient. That's how we had that stuff we had. You can change it. Let me show a default gradient. This is how gradient works. We're going to explore this when we're looking at color theories. Because what we're doing lately is Web3 design. So let's just say we want to create a design for Web3. Let's get something here. So you're seeing that color is too short for Web3. We need something that is really matured but still Web3. So let's have this, and still on the other colors, I think I want to do something. I want to play around with how this gradient is. Just give it a second. We are exploring, the whole design stuff. Okay, so yep, we want to have a text like that. Let's have this to be Web3. Let's have capital letters. We have this here. Web 3. Okay. I don't like this reflection stuff. Let's take it out, please. Alright, so I'm just showing you this. I'm not going to design. I'm just showing you what we could do. And remember this guy. Just bring him in again. We can change the color to something more purple now for the context of what we're doing. Alright, so you see we're already having something close to Web3 and all of that. Background for Web3. So that's how you get your background, right? The colors. Pick the colors. You can use a solid shape. You can use any one you want. Sorry about that. The next thing to look at is transparency. So you can actually, if you're creating a PNG, or when you're working with a large team, so you're a designer, and let's say you're working with church, you could have like Shiloh 2025 coming up, and your church takes pictures in that Shiloh event. It's broadcasted live, but then your church also wants to have their own pictures. So you can have Shiloh logo around here, and actually have your own church something around here, and then save this whole stuff as PNG. Let me take this out as PNG and send it to the photographer. The photographer adds this stuff to all the pictures he takes. That's how to create your own PNG stuff, right? So you can actually take out your background, bring it here, save your PNG. All right, that's how that works. Oh my bad, I think I didn't explore this other one, all of it. My bad, my guys. I'm sorry about that. We'll come back to colors. We'll come back to background, but let's explore all of this here. I just saw we didn't do that here. I'll just put this back here. I'm going to use white background now. I love white backgrounds. I start my designs, all of it, with a white canvas, so it doesn't look weird for me. We had looked at stickers, we looked at import, we looked at draw, we looked at shapes. We're about to look at draw and shapes and Bezier tool and arrow tool. So let's start with draw. Draw for me is just most times if I'm designing, I come here and I sketch. Let's say I want to have a man standing here and I want to have some text, text here, and I want to have light. We could actually have, I can change the color of what I'm drawing. I want to have sunlight on, I want to have sunlight there, I want to have small light here as well, and I'm going to have trees. I'm going to use green for that. This is just me now sketching my design, how it will look like. That's how I use my pen tool. I want to have green trees around and all of that. So this is what you can do. Also, I probably guess you've seen designs that have things like, so you have a text and then you have things like this to highlight that text. So yeah, you can actually do that with pen tool as well. You see things like this. Let me use the border color, if you can have that clearly. Yeah, you have things like this, things like this to highlight that particular text, right? So that's how you also get that with draw. You can make it smooth, really, really smooth, Yeah, also neon effect. See that now? We can explore a lot of things here. You have dash lines. Okay. Also, you have fill inside. Let's see what that looks like. I think, yeah, that's what it looks like. So if you're drawing in, yeah, that's what you get. Let's put that off. So dash lines, done that. All right, this is really cool. Blur radius, hold on. So the blur radius for, this is really cool. You see that now? See what we are getting? That's how you can draw. I think I would embrace this. I just saw this is crazy. All right, so you're already seeing what the draw tool can do for you in your design. Okay, it's already cool, really, really cool for me. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. I'm just going to pull all of that out. So when you do that, it comes in as a shape. All right, it comes in as a shape. You can actually crop some part out, All right, so you can take it backward again, take it forward, all of that. Okay. Yep, so let's just delete that. That's what comes when you draw. And the next thing is shapes. We're going to talk about this deeply in our class. This is one of the elements of design, shapes. We have circle shapes, we have, all of pentagon, all of this, all right? You could explore, change the colors like you want, add strokes to them, change the opacity of the stroke. You could do everything you could do with a shape from the other example and make the opacity blur, the stroke blur. All of that. So let's just take it out. The next thing, so again, just to show you guys, Pixellab has some ready-made shapes. So you can see star. Let's say you needed a star. You can see star. You can see a love shape, but I don't like this love. It's not loving. So you can see a thunderbolt. For logo designers, you could get inspired from this. All right, let's just take all of that out. The next thing is a Bezier tool. I'm going to show you how Bezier tool works in a minute. All right, so let's say I want to add another Bezier tool. That's where I click on this plus. So we have two Bezier tools. If I want to go to the first one, I click on this left arrow, this right arrow, this less than sign and greater than sign here, it takes me forward. If I want to copy this Bezier tool, the second one, I click on this, it copies. So you're seeing what we're doing, right? Don't worry, we're going to come back to all of that. So I'm taking them out now. Let's have only one. And the next thing we have is Bezier mode. You see the heading here. So Bezier mode, when the plus sign is on this anchor head, it means it wants you to add another Bezier anchor. If I touch anywhere on my screen, it adds another one. If I touch it, add another one, because the plus sign is on its head, right? So if I put the icon on this next one here, I hope you're seeing what I'm touching. It was here before and I click it here. I hope I could draw on this, but I can't. But just watch my screen, you get it clear. So if I click on this next one here, it allows me to edit the anchor head. So I could just do this. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm just playing around now. Let's see this, okay? So you see, I'm trying to make a cycle with it. Just keep turning the anchor head. You can move the anchor head around, okay? I'm arranging it now. You see what I'm doing? So for these ones that has two anchors, you can move the two antennas around real good. Okay, so just play around to get what you want. This idea could be used really in logo designs. When I used to design logo designs with Pixellab, I use Bezier tool many times, very many times. Alright, so that works. And if you want to move the whole shape, click on the next stuff here. This is more like a relative, how would you call it now, motion also. So you just move the whole Bezier tool around. So you wanted to keep it here, you can keep it there and all. So let me show you the next thing. So Bezier mode, this is Bezier mode. To add, just a recap now. The next stuff is to control the anchors, what you actually want the stuff to do for you. Control the anchors, okay? The next thing is to move them around. So the next thing is actions. So if I click on this, I'm removing. So you see we had this a plus sign on it, and it was adding anchor heads. So if you have an X sign here, it's moving them actually. Okay, so I'll keep clicking on that until it removes them. So the next thing we have is like a joint stuff. So if I click on it, it joins the whole Bezier tool together. Alright, if I click on that, it disconnects them. Let's see. So you can increase the scale. Okay, see that now. That's what this is. The next icon there. Under actions, that's what it is. Increase the scale. Okay, the next of it I think is to rotate. Yeah, it's basically to rotate. So yeah, you understand what that means. You can increase the size of the width of the stroke. And yeah, let me show you what this means. Just give it a second, please. Let me show you what this means. How do we do that now? Okay, let me show you what that means. So when we have round edges like this, it means the curve at the end will be round. So if we have, I think you won't really notice this. If it's a square, whilst we're working on this, I'll show you how that works. So you can actually reduce the opacity. Okay, we can add a stroke. Okay, we can change the color of the stroke. All right, yeah, change the color of the stroke. All right, so let's say we back to the Bezier tool now. Let's say we want to have a cycle. I want to create maybe a customized cycle or like egg kind of shape. Let's see how we can do that really fast. So you're seeing I'm just using the anchors and moving them around to get what I want. Okay. I'm trying to show you how this should work. Alright, so I want to put out the whole stroke and have only the shape. So I'm going to increase this. And I'm going to click on this. Can you see that? Right, so we have the shape. That's what Bezier tool can actually do for you. Okay, that's the end. Basically the same thing. You can add shadows to it, all of those. Okay, so that's what Bezier tool does. You can delete that. Let's move to the next thing. The next thing is arrow. Just some custom made arrow for us. I think let's use black color so we could see well. See how the arrowhead looks. Begin arrow size. Okay, so you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. I don't think I've used it before in my Pixellab, but I mean it's there, so in case you need. Alright, so you see that now. Oh, this is cool. The opacity is reduced. Right, so color fill. This is what arrow looks like. So you could add stroke to that. The opacity of the stroke as well. And I guess that's all. Yep, that's all. Alright, so let's move to the next thing we were at, which is the background. I didn't explain this. So we talked about stickers, import, draw, shapes, Bezier, and arrow. So the next thing is background. And we were at colors when we were talking about that Web3 stuff. And we had this. And glad it saves like 5 colors. Save like your 5 used colors save, so you don't have to come back every time and look for it. So it just saves for you automatically. And we talked about transparency, how to get something transparent. And let me just put that back. I like these colors. And we also talked about image size. Okay, so now that's, yeah. So if you want to have, let's talk about this real quick. If you want to have Instagram, I think Instagram is something about this now. All right, can you see what we did there? Your flyer wants to be like this, so you want to have like a banner. But I've made banner designs for the bank using my Pixellab here. I've made roll-up banners. I've made billboards using my Pixellab. I'm even working with a fashion brand in Akwa Ibom State, and I'm designing that billboard. I'm about to use my phone to get that done. So you see, you come here, and what you do with this image size is you increase the size. So let's say your phone, my phone can carry like 10,000, I guess, but it will just take time to download. But what we can do to increase the size or the quality of the images, you can do like 9,000, okay, and then you can do 10,000. It's still the same, still about the same size you could get if you measure that well, but the quality will be higher. Okay, the quality will be higher. So yeah, image size talks about that. So I'm saying this because we're going to talk about this more. We could also have some ready-made profile picture square. Good of YouTube banners. You don't need to look at that again. So image size, you could have YouTube thumbnails. Okay, you don't need to do much. You could have Facebook cover art. This is what it looks like. That's the size. Maybe they just a bit to Google Plus cover photo, Twitter head size. So you see, all of these, the precepts are there. So you could just get that done. So another thing is image. Pixellab has some ready-made images again. Most of these images were used to do those presets we saw. So yeah, I've used this sometime. Okay, let me change this back. I think I really want to have this square size because that's what we're working with. All right, so I just imported these images. That's why you have this. Can you see? All right, so you can have this. I think I like this. Let me just don't mind my goofy brain. All right, so the next step there is to import from gallery. So be reminded, we are actually working with the background now. The background is, we've explored how the background could be a color. We've explored how it could be like a gradient like this. We've explored how it could be transparent. The next thing is being transparent. We've explored how to make the size ratio for a particular niche we want to design for. Let's say for billboards, for business cards, whatever you want to design for, get the size right here. And then we've talked about how to get ready-made images from Pixellab like this. And then we're talking about how to import images for your background. I'm gonna put this in. So let's say I want to use this image as my background. This is what it will look like. Okay. And once you put an image in there, you can't move it around. It's just your background. Everything you do happens on top of it. So you see, I'm trying to send it back now. You can't go back because that's the image. The image is the background. All right. So let's go back to the next stuff is from getting it from camera. If you want to just snap and use it directly from your camera, and that will be that. The next thing here is filter. So you can add vignette to your design. Okay, I rarely do that, but just in case you want to do that, you could add noise to your design. Let's see what it looks like. You can add noise. Okay, you can add noise. Powerful. Okay, you can add stripes. Okay. So you can make it bigger as well. We already see what that looks like. You can add brightness. Okay. Do just filters for your design. You can add contrast. for everything on the page, not just for a part. Remember, we saw this same source, but it was for images that you import. All right, so hue again, you can increase the hue, play around with that. Saturation, you can do that. Okay, I think I like this. All right, let's see. There it goes. All right, so that's what it does. Let's put this off. That's the noise. Let's put it off. I'm gonna put that stripe off because it's still on. Alright, so we've explored how these options work in Pixellab. Take your time, watch these videos again. This is also part of the things you'll be learning. If you have questions, and for sure we're going to answer in the groups. We are talking about the icons on the top part, this blue part of our screen, and we're just going to explore them one after the other. The first one here, this plus sign. If you click on it, you see you can add text. You can add, let's see what current date looks like. So you can add today's date. Wow, that's nice. Okay, so today is 4th of June 2025, and it adds the text. Adds it as text. So the next thing you can see, add sticker, add shapes, add from gallery to draw. About the same things, just like adding all of this stuff from one after the other. The next thing is to save. So we could save this as a project, give it a name, let's say Academy. I'm gonna delete this real quick, but then I just saved that now. And we can also save this as image. I'm not gonna save it, but let me show you how to save as image, what it looks like. So if I click on this, you can have, so remember when I said we have transparent background. If you want to save a transparent picture, you can have PNG, you can also have JPEG, but there are many people like their pictures, even with background, saved as PNG. I think they say, it increases quality. I don't know, but I don't think it does. But then these are the numbers. Remember we had custom size, so you could actually have ultra. The numbers will change if you look it up. Sorry, if you have low, the numbers will change. The next thing is ultra, the numbers will still change. Okay, if you look it up. So you really want to be conscious of that. And then you click on save to gallery, that saves automatically. Okay, so that's for save. We just explored the first two now. The third one, which is share, I think it's just the same thing, but then you explore these quick share options to Facebook, to Gmail, to WhatsApp, to Instagram, to Dropbox, to Twitter, and all of that. The next thing is quote. We saw this in text, and these three icons allows you to explore, maybe use image. You can actually have full screen, use image from camera, export image size, tutorials, remove ads, all of those extra things that make up Pixellab. Okay, so one of the things that is really most important in our journey today would be the usage of these layers panel. This opens up layers for you. So if you have you really get that handy a lot. So I'm just creating more text. Oh no, my bad. Now I can't move that from there. Let me just do this. Okay, so I'll just copy this a lot of times. Okay, we have like 3 text now. So we see the text we've copied. So if I want to bring this behind this, let's get the colors so you can see. Okay. All right. So you see that now. The black text, the red text is behind this because I pulled it down. Okay, so you get what I'm saying now. So just about that now. All right. So you see, that's how you play around with the layers. That's why it's really important. You can get really crazy good designs just using these layers panels to move things in front and behind. The next thing is grid. I love grid. When you're learning design principles, you understand that grid lines help you get your alignment. So just for this design we made, I'm just going to show you what I used with grid lines. So you see what we did there. Let me zoom in so you can see it clearly. You could use a grid line to see that there's alignment on a design. So the text here, it's the same with the text below. Okay, so that's really cool. Let me put that back out again. So we understand how all of these icons work. The plus sign, the save, this is for the save project, save image. This is to share. This is to get quotes. I mean, I don't use that often, but you could actually get nice quotes from there sometimes. And that's because they don't get updated. I don't think they are. And then this is also to put down options, see other options. This is layers, and this is grid. This way we stopped. So if you want to add more grid, you could come down here. You see where we are. There are two shapes here on this down part. So when you click on it, click on it, click on it, click on it. Okay. When you click on it, you can actually add one more. Play around with it. Add one more. Remove it. Do that to it. Positioning. Okay. See, that's what's happening. All right. So you can actually revert everything. Okay. The next thing that looks cool on grid will be this mark. This stuff here is a magnetic tool. So if I put it on, let me show you what it does. If I'm trying to place a text, it pulls that magnetic effect to the center of that grid. So this works a lot if you're trying to have some things look the same or aligned, really aligned. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, see that now. All right, so we understand how that magnetic stuff works with the grid line now. So I talked about this earlier, the zoom effect, and also you've seen me use it a couple of times to undo things. That's what it does. All right, so guys, that's the introduction for Pixellab. Let's get back to class. Thank you very much for joining this session.